Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So before I get into today's video, I wanted to just give you guys a little bit of an update and let you guys know where I've been for the past few weeks. So basically, I've just been super busy, and I know that's not an excuse, but I've just been super busy, and I've also been dealing with some personal issues. Everything is fine, but I just needed to take time to kind of gather my thoughts, kind of reflect on my own self, and I had a bunch of stuff to get done in the process. So unfortunately, I did not record anything for the past 2 weeks, I think it's been. So I am sorry about that. If you guys do want to keep updated on any of that kind of stuff, you can always feel free to follow my Twitter or my Facebook page. As always, all my links for all my social medias and stuff like that are in the description box below. I update those as often as I can, or as often as I think to, but I try to keep them updated so that way you guys know what's going on if you follow me over there. So I'm just going to cut right out of that and say I'm back, and hopefully things will be a lot calmer now. So yeah, let's just jump right into the video. Today's video is very late in coming, but it is what I read in the month of March. So that's it. And I'm going to combine what I've read so far this month as well, because out of the 4 books I have to talk about, 3 of them have to go back to my library tonight, so I'm going to throw those in too, just so you guys can see them. So in March, the first book I read was Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This is the first book in the Grisha trilogy, and I did do a review of this book, so I will also link that if you haven't seen it down below, so you guys can go check that out if you're interested. But yeah, this is the first book I finished in the month of March, and I loved it. I'm super glad that I finally decided to read this trilogy, because it is a very good trilogy, and I haven't fallen in love with a trilogy like this or a series like this in quite a while, aside from my Black Dagger Brotherhood books, which I've been raving about for a long time now. But yeah, so I'm really glad I decided to read this. I highly enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. The next book and last book that I finished in the month of March is Book 2, Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo, Book 2 in the Grisha trilogy. And again, I really enjoyed this one as well. This one was a tad bit slower for me. I didn't get into this one nearly as quickly as I did the first book, which is probably why it took me a little bit longer to read it than it normally would have. It slowed down in pacing a lot for me, and it kind of made me, I don't know, I wasn't as into it. I still enjoyed it. It just was much slower paced for me. And that's it for the month of March. So now moving on to books that I'm reading and have read for so far this month. And the first book I read and finished this month is the final book in the Grisha trilogy, and that is Ruin and Rising. Again, highly enjoyed the book. I did not enjoy the romance aspect between the 2 characters. I personally didn't like the character that your main character in this series chooses to be with. I liked a different character with her instead, but that didn't happen. But regardless, it was still a good book. So now that I've talked about all 3 of them and have read all 3 of them, I will tell you guys a little bit about what this trilogy is actually about. So in this trilogy, you follow a character named Elena, and she is what they call a member of the Grisha. Grisha are basically like a mage, the only difference being within a lot of books, you can learn to be a mage, whereas in this particular trilogy, you have to be born with the powers of whatever your mage kind of does. As in, like, they have ones that are specific to fire and to light and dark and, you know, wind and all that kind of stuff. She finds out she is, in fact, born with these powers. She's born with the power of light. And she is one of the strongest and most rare forms of Grisha that this world she's in has seen. So because they are in the middle of a war, they whisk her away to the kingdom to fully train her and let her really tap into her own powers, so that way they can use her as an asset in their war. And that's basically what this trilogy is about, for the most part. There's a lot of other things going on in this trilogy as well, but I don't want to spoil anything for those of you who have not read this trilogy. But if you haven't, I highly suggest that you pick it up and give it a try. It's a really good trilogy, if I can speak. It's a really good trilogy. It just, I mean, it had a lot of slow points for me, especially in the second book, but it is still worth reading. And while I didn't agree with the person she chose to, you know, form a relationship with as far as the romance part of it goes, it was still a really good book. It was still a really good trilogy. I really enjoyed it, so I highly recommend it, if you haven't read it, to pick it up and give it a try. That's it for all the books I've finished between last month and this month so far. Those all have to go back to the library, which is why I showed them all to you in this video. But I am going to go ahead and show you guys the book I'm currently reading. My dust jacket is off of it, but that's because I'm currently reading it. And that is Lover Unleashed by J.R. Ward. This is one of her books to her Black Dagger Brotherhood series. If you guys have even been here for a short amount of time, you've heard me talk about this series, because I absolutely love this series so far. I am a good chunk of the way through it, and I'm hoping to be able to finish it before the end of the month, which I should be able to, as long as I can keep my head in my book and not on my show. I've been marathoning the old episodes of Roseanne lately, because I recently got Amazon Prime, and they have all the original 9 seasons available, included with Prime. And so I've been marathoning through Roseanne because, you know, they just restarted showing it again, and I'm like loving it. And my husband has never seen the original episodes. He's seen them here and there, but he's never like continuously watched them. So we've been marathoning those, and I'm highly enjoying it. I love that show. I digress. This is about books, not about Roseanne. So anyways, so yeah, I'm currently reading this one. I'm almost done with it. Hoping to be able to finish it pretty soon. And then I don't know what I'm going to pick up after this one. I have a bunch of books that I need to read, some of which you guys have already seen in my last book haul video that I did. I have another book haul related video to make for this month. I have purchased a couple of books this month so far that I would like to show you guys. Not a lot, not nearly as many as I had last month, but I did purchase some, and I would like to show them at some point too. So I don't know what I'm going to pick up after this. But yeah, I am highly enjoying this book so far, as I figured I would. If you're not familiar with the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, it is an adult vampire series. You have vampires who are in a war against their slayers. In this world, their slayers are called lessers, and they are basically desouled humans. And they're at war with each other, obviously. The vampires want to eradicate the slayers, and vice versa. They do interact with humans. Humans do not know either one exists. So it's kind of one of those kind of series. It is an adult series, though, and it's full of action, and of course the romance gets a little steamy, because it is an adult series, but it is super good. If you guys haven't read this series yet, I highly suggest you pick it up if you like any books of that sort. It is so good. The first book is called Dark Lover, and yeah, I highly recommend it. But this is the book I'm currently reading, so very much enjoying it, working my way through this series, and I cannot wait to continue because it is super good. But that is it. That is all of the books and things I wanted to talk to you guys about today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you like me and you like what I'm doing here, please consider subscribing because it means a lot. And that's pretty much it. So as always, all my links to everything will be down in the description box below. Feel free to follow any of my social medias that you guys choose to. And if you do want to see that review for the first book in the Grisha trilogy, Shadow and Bone, it will also be linked down in my description box because I did do a review of that. So that's it. I'm gonna let you guys go, and I will see you guys very, very, very soon in my next video. Bye.